Hello and welcome to my first ever Meals of the Week. My name is Erica and today's video is a collaboration with some amazing girls that I've met here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Make sure to see my description box for a link to their channel. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Thank you ladies for collaborating with me today and I really hope that you enjoy. For this meal, I will be making a quick and easy chicken tortilla soup using chicken broth, rotel, corn, and of course a rotisserie chicken. For this recipe, I chose to use my crock pot. I do not want to be slaving over the stove, and pretty much everything in this recipe is already pre-cooked, so all I need the crock pot for is to help warm it and cook it down. So I will be pouring all the chicken broth and ingredients into the crock pot, and that includes my can of rotel, my can of corn, and lastly, I will be putting the chicken into the crock pot. And to add just a little bit more flavor, I will be using garlic powder, cumin, nor tomato bouillon with the chicken flavor, and I also will be adding a little bit of salt. The final ingredient that I will be using for my chicken tortilla soup is cilantro. I feel like cilantro really brings this dish together and gives it so much flavor. Once I'm done adding in my cilantro, I'm going to give everything a good stir before I cover it and just let it cook down for the next 3 to 4 hours. Because everything is already pre-cooked in this dish, you definitely do not have to let it sit for as long as I did. I was going out and running errands, and so that is the reason why I let my dish cook down for as long as I did. I wanted to make sure that we came home to something just warm and fresh, and that is exactly what I got. I went ahead and garnished my soup with some cheese, tortilla chips, sour cream, and I also added some avocado. Of course, you can add whatever toppings you want. It is completely up to you. This next recipe is so simple but so good. You will need a rotisserie chicken, a can of red enchilada sauce, 2 cans of hominy, and 2 boxes of chicken broth. I haven't made this dish in such a long time, but now that I have, I know that I need to make it a lot more often. So I will be using my crock pot again for this recipe. Everything again is pre-cooked, so you don't have to worry about anything having to fully cook through. You don't have to leave it in the crock pot for such a long time. I'm going to go ahead and pour both boxes of broth into the crock pot, followed by the hominy, followed by your red enchilada sauce, and you're going to want to give that a good stir. After that, you're going to add in your chicken, and this is a whole rotisserie chicken that I'm putting in, and it was actually a pretty good amount for the amount of liquid that I had in the crock pot. Before covering this dish to let it warm through, I added some extra seasonings for flavor. I used garlic powder, cumin, the tomato base that I used in the chicken tortilla soup, and I gave that a good stir and then finally covered it. Normally in pozole dishes, you will find that they are garnished in cabbage, onions, and radishes. And so that is what I am doing here. I am getting everything ready so that we can finally have dinner. On this day, we decided to go out to dinner and we chose a pho restaurant, which is really fitting for the fall season. My son had a steak pho and my daughter had a chicken breast pho, and they both really enjoyed their dishes and had so much fun playing with their chopsticks. They're actually pretty good at it. Mommy, don't even attempt. My husband and I had the same dish, and our dish had a ton of meat in it. It had steak, brisket, meatballs, flank, tripe, tendon, and of course all the veggies. So since this dish was loaded in protein, I can honestly say that I don't think I've ever had flank or tendon prior to this. They were more of a fatty piece of meat and they were really good, so I cannot complain. We really enjoyed our dinner on this day. The next meal is going to be another rotisserie chicken idea. I decided to make rotisserie chicken Alfredo using gluten-free pasta. Although I use gluten-free pasta, this is not a complete gluten-free dish because the Alfredo sauce does have gluten in it. So I have to keep that in mind for next time. I'm also going to make a dipping sauce for our bread. That is going to be an olive oil based dipping sauce. I wanted to show this to you because this is so important. I wanted to save time, so I put my noodles into the crock pot and I thought I'd let this sit there for a bit while I get some projects done around the house. And this is what happened. Because they are gluten-free, they just did not work out in the crock pot. It looks like mashed potatoes. I know it's such a messy, mushy mess. And so just don't do this. Don't put gluten-free pasta into the crock pot. I had to go to the store and just revert to the traditional way, just doing it on the stove, and that worked out so much better for me. Now that my pasta actually looks like pasta, I can go ahead and move on with this recipe. What I'm going to do is just add all of my ingredients to this pot. So this is going to be a one-pot meal, and these are meals that I've really been gravitating towards lately just because I do have a really busy schedule with all of my children's activities, and they're just so simple and they make a big quantity, so I'm able to use them for more than one day, which is really helpful. I'm going to go ahead and spoon in all the chicken. I've already shredded and diced it. And I'll be adding some additional spices, which are going to be parsley and black pepper. And that was it. That was all that I added extra to this dish. Now I'm going to show you how it is that I make my dipping sauce for this bread that I'm slicing up. My family absolutely loves this dipping sauce, and that includes my in-laws. They love it when I make this for them. So I will be sharing that recipe with you now. I hope that you enjoyed these meal ideas. They are so simple and really quick to put together. This is exactly what I've been needing at this time in my life. It's been so busy. But if you made it to the end of this video, leave me a soup bowl emoji. I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.